the possibly unprecedented and certainly dangerous relationship between Donald Trump and William Barr, the current state of the DOJ, which has been incredibly deferential to his desires, continues to develop. We found out today that Attorney General William Barr has assigned an outside prosecutor to scrutinize the criminal case against President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, according to people familiar with the matter. To catch you up, in case you don't know about Michael Flynn's legal troubles, in December 2017, Flynn struck a plea deal with special counsel Robert Mueller's team, pleading guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with the Russian ambassador and agreeing to cooperate. Now, Flynn was one of multiple people in the administration who just forgot that they had been talking to a whole bunch of Russian officials. And one would think, considering the conversation at the time about what was going on, that would matter. And the right wing has, to their credit, been obsessed with Michael Flynn ever since then. But in thinking that they had been unfair to him, that the DOJ was being too harsh to him, that they should let him go. And it doesn't matter that he conveniently left off all of these inconvenient facts. And so we don't know exactly what this scrutiny is going to produce, but we do know what the right-wing media wants. They've been very vocal about it throughout the day.
So look, they're lawless. They don't, and we've gone over this. And so you have the career prosecutors who are still trying to do their job, and they go through the process. And then, and this is what happens in countries that devolve into chaos and then wind up having governments that do terrible things. They then have political correctness come in and go, yeah, you were legally correct, but we're not interested in that. We're interested in being politically correct. And the dear leader says that he wants his friend out of jail, so he doesn't care that he broke the law. And by the way, other people that didn't break the law, he wants them in jail, and he doesn't care that they didn't break the law. And so that's how democracies devolve, and we're right in the middle of that right now.
It's hard for people to see it sometimes. I was thinking that the other day. It's hard for people to see exactly what's happening in the country when it's happening. We think, oh, we look through history and we're like, hey, that happened. I read that book. That's how it happened. But when we're in the middle of it, or when someone who happens to be in the opposing party, and not everyone that's in the opposing party is saying this, but when someone says, hey, pay attention to what this guy is doing, it's what we've always warned others about. Just pay attention, because if you don't, it'll happen to you. So if you want to push back and say, oh, how could you say such a thing? This is America, nothing like that could ever happen. That's exactly how it can happen. When you have an attitude like that and you don't pay attention to exactly what's being done.
Yeah, to your point, JR, I remember being in a museum of Thomas a long time ago here in LA. And I always wondered, how in the world did that Germany slip into what it slipped into in the 1930s, right? And then they laid it out. That's why you go to museums, okay? And they showed the newspaper articles from back in the day, et cetera. And the answer is gradually. And they take away a little bit of freedom. They'd break a law here, no consequences. They break another law, no consequences. And eventually might makes right. And then eventually they start coming in with batons and beating people up, but there's no law anymore to enforce. And all there's left is power. And I mean, it's happening right in front of our eyes. If he wins re-election, now he thinks he's 100% above the law. So
and he's right.
And right now, that is correct.
Yeah, you're talking about that process, and you need legislative checks. Hopefully, hopefully the courts can provide a check. Maybe the media can provide a check. And you always sort of wonder, what was the media saying in the run up to that? Well, I don't know. Perhaps it's at the museum. But we do know what some in the media are saying about the DOJ and about Trump right now. Yesterday, William Barr had his little comments about how Trump is making his job hard. Obviously there's a lot of distance between them. I mean, he said his job was hard. And I want you to take a look at even that sort of show of frustration with Trump from William Barr, who from day one in that position has done nothing but protect Donald Trump, do his bidding. That's why he was there, because he wasn't gonna be like Jeff Sessions and recuse himself. So let's go to Lou Dobbs last night talking about Barr from yesterday.
I guess I am so disappointed in Bill Barr. I have to say this. It's a damn shame when he doesn't get what this president has gone through and what the American people have gone through and what his charge is as Attorney General. Where the hell is the report? Where the hell are the indictments? Where the hell are the charges against the corrupt, the politically corrupt deep state within the Justice Department, the FBI? And why in the hell aren't we hearing apologies from someone in that rancid, corrupt department about what they permitted? But then to hear this Attorney General complain about this president who's fighting every one of those damn people to do the right thing and to get this country straightened out. And it's his mission to do so, not to carp about his boss. And by the way, I don't want to hear any crap about an independent Justice Department. This Justice Department, as does everyone, works for the president. It is part of the executive branch.
Lou Dobbs never before in his life has felt that the Justice Department should be the personal lawyers of the president. And I guarantee if Trump loses later on this year, he will not continue to say that they should be working for the president. But look at that, I don't want to hear that crap about an independent DOJ. No, because you would have that in a presidential system. In a monarchy where you have your king, no, obviously all of them are supposed to be working for him. But look at, we're gonna talk more about that. He was slamming William Barr there for like a throwaway comment about tweets. He called him part of the deep state because of that. And he said, why are you doing this when you should be getting indictments against the people in the DOJ? Not like particular people. He's not saying here are people and the crimes they committed. He's saying go find people and bring me indictments. You should be rooting out the people who are working against our dear Lord Donald Trump.
Against our political enemies. Yep. And so also in the museum you see propaganda, and that was a huge part of it. And you think that like the Germans, like the National Socialist Party, when they first came into power in the 1930s, or trying to get into power and then did, that they came in and said, oh, we're gonna murder everyone? No, they didn't say that, okay? They said, oh, we're trying to protect the homeland. And he's the only one that cares about Germany and the Germans. And he's just trying to, and you've got to give him the power so he can protect you. So he could protect the homeland, and he can protect Germans outside of the homeland too, because those are poor minorities that are being exploited in other countries, and we have to go help them, etc. And they did propaganda on purpose. And then their enemies were less than human. And they were the ones causing all the problems, and etc. etc. And if anyone crossed the leader, you'd have someone like that go back in the day in the newspapers and the leaflets, etc., and say, RT is now among our enemies, and he has to be rooted out, okay? And they would get rid of them, and then until everybody got the message, you're not allowed to disagree with the leader even a little bit, not even as John pointed out, a show disagreement. It wasn't a real disagreement. It was meant to show that he's independent, while Bill Barr is not actually independent. He did reduce Roger Stone's sentence. He did put someone on the Flynn case to reduce his sentence, or maybe let him go. He did butcher the Mueller report and lie about it. He's done everything Trump has asked him to do. And then he just did a little show of like, oh, I am upset about his tweets. And Lou Dobbs is like, that's it. He's part of the deep state and it's rancid. We got to get rid of him, because the important thing is not, is Bill Barr really on our side or not? The important thing is to terrify anyone who might oppose the president even a little bit.
Yeah.
Justin Amash, Matt Gaetz, Jeff Sessions. These guys get run, Mitt Romney, they get run out for the smallest of things. Matt Gaetz is it was one of the biggest kneelers in front of the president. But I mean, there was one thing, which by the way, just yesterday they did pass, the Senate did pass a limitation on the president's war powers against Iran. That's what Matt Gaetz was put on punishment for even suggesting before the vote actually happened. Of course, he's representative, so that was a Senate vote yesterday. But just because of that, he's off of the impeachment trial when he was one of the biggest mouthpieces. It doesn't matter, you are now an enemy. And until I get rid of all of my enemies and now only have people like Barr around me, who now he's towing that line, then we're not a complete country yet. Anytime the interest of the president only matches up to be the interest of the country, that sounds like a dictator to me. And when you have someone like, who's our boy in the impeachment who said, if the president thinks it's the national interest for him to get reelected, he can do whatever the hell he wants? My old guy.
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz says that. Then that becomes the norm. That's a legal argument he made in front of the Senate. That's what we're supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.